Welcome to the Aspire Sports Dome, Hall number 2, home of the gymnastic event for the 15th Asian Games. Just about to get underway with day 4 of the artistic gymnastics. We've seen the team finals, we've seen the individual all-around finals. The next 2 days will see the medals decided for the individual apparatus finals. Day 1 of 2 then, which will see the men in action on floor, on pommel horse and on rings, and the women in action on vault and asymmetric bars. From the qualifications rounds, the top 8 from each separate piece of apparatus went through to the finals, with a maximum of 2 representatives from each individual nation. The men will get underway on the floor. There it is, 12 meters by 12 meters. We've already seen some amazing action from both men and women, as I said, in the team events and the individual all around. But now it is the time of the specialist athletes to really show us what they can do on the individual pieces of apparatus. So whereas those team and all-around finals are really all about an accumulation of scores over 6 pieces of apparatus for the men, 4 pieces of apparatus for the women, the next 2 days are all about the highest scores possible on the individual pieces.
And I'll tell you, the gymnast attitude towards these finals will be one of a festival. They're celebrating their sport. There's a great camaraderie out there, and you'll see it when they're seated waiting for their turn. They congratulate each other. It's a super festival atmosphere and a showcase for the sport. These are the very finest exponents at the Asian Games, at this apparatus, and some of them, of course, some of the best in the world.
Well, that's right. We have world champions with us. We have Asian Games champions, of course. We have Olympic champions. And the standard of competition so far has been quite special. But some of those performances could well be surpassed today as the real specialists get to show what they're made of on the individual pieces of apparatus. There's the start list for the men's floor. Zhu Kai representing China, Se Guangri from DPR Korea, Zhongchol Zhou from DPR Korea, Stepan Gorbachev, Kazakhstan, Sung Il Kim from Korea, Sun Yun Kim from Korea, Liang Fuliang from China, and Shun Kuwahara from Japan. So they will be the gymnasts we see in action first. There'll be a few short moments of warm-up before the competition gets underway.
Great little gymnast, Zhu Kai, comes on to the floor as favourite, having qualified in top position. And both Chinese actually will be out there demonstrating superb technique. But in the finals, it is a different atmosphere. A lot of them haven't competed since the all-round, which might be an advantage, might be a disadvantage. So the team competition was, what, 4 days ago, 3 days ago? And sometimes that can be a disadvantage. But both Chinese go out there as favourites. It'll be a battle between those two, as it was in the individual all-round. Zhu Kai is definitely the man to watch.
One of the younger members of the team. He did manage a 6th place at the recent World Championships in Aarhus, but I'm sure he's going to be looking for podium places here in Doha. He's only 18 years old.
That's the one area, though, if we're looking at specialists throughout the world, that's the one area that China will get beaten on the world stage, because there are specialists around from other nations. And just an indication, he was 6th in the world final with a score of 15.5, which gives you an idea of the sort of level out there. Very exciting moments. And the crowd, probably bigger today than it's been all week, Richard.
Well, there's a great atmosphere and a fantastic approach from the athletes. As you've been saying, we've seen smiles all around. It looks like the gymnasts really enjoying the atmosphere of the Asian Games. It's great to see. Absolute top world-class level, but people taking it in the spirit that sport should be taken. It's fun, They're enjoying it, but they're very serious. And as we said, they are, in fact, some of the world's very best. Now, Zhu Kai, 18 years old. He was the gold medalist on floor at the recent Asian Championships. As we said, 6th place in Aarhus. He gets the competition underway for the men on floor.
He's very light of touch, this young man. Very quick. Beautiful stuff. Very easy through the twisting series. Good way to build difficulty. I'll tell you what. Just let him go. Foot perfect on twisting. He's still twisting. 1.5, 1 and 3. Plenty of difficulty building up. The first two building connection, and that one in its own right, very difficult. And if you've noticed, he's twisted on every pass. Full twist, 1 and 3. Again missing his shoulders on the roll out. He did that on the big trick as well. Hasn't he got a lovely relaxed approach? Superb technique. Full twisting, double to finish, and absolutely nailed it. What a start from the young man. Twisting his way to a superb performance.
Well, both gymnast and coach delighted with that performance. It's a great start to the final.
Very fond of twisting. 2.5. 2.5. Which is very unique. 2.5 one way, 2.5 another. Then 1.5 into double. That's a great combination.
So solid on his landings as well.
That was a great routine.
Well, this will... Obviously, he's the first guy out. He's going to be the score to beat. But, as we said earlier, he is the man to watch as well in many respects for this floor final. Another 7 athletes remaining. They've seen what they've got to do now. There the score. He cracks into the 16 barrier with a 16 dead. Lays down the challenge to the remaining 7 gymnasts. There's your score to beat, he says. Let's see what you can do now.
Well, that is one big score. The only person capable of that, I think, is his countryman, Yan Fuliang. But what a way to start a competition with a 16.
Certainly puts the pressure on. The first of the representatives from DPR Korea, say Gwang Ri. And we've seen some very good performances from this team, both men's and women's teams. Let's see how their floor specialist goes.
Most of them opt to multiple twists in the first run. It's a good way of building some difficulty. He's taken an awful long run. Not too bad at all. Easily done. How many twists, Richard?
Well, it was a double straight rotator with a full twist, and that to get round twice straight on floor, very, very difficult.
Lovely 1 and 3 from that combination. Acceleration through the flick, 2.5 twist, and just wraps round again. And if I'm not mistaken, that was a 2.5 twist from a half twist exit, which is excellent work. So far, he's certainly matching Zhu Kai. Going to come down to nailing that dismount because oh, that's lovely. Half twist into the 1 and 3 straight. Long way round. That's the only difference so far. An extra twist from Zhu Kai in the 1 and 3. But that's a double-double. Thank you very much. That was good work from the DPRK gymnast.
Well, he certainly has risen to the challenge. Say Gwang Ri, we've seen some great battles between China and DPR Korea over the last 3 days of competition. Let's take a look back.
Superb.
Now that double in the straight body position, very difficult. He did it so well.
nice there. That's that 1 of 3 kick out, which is so good. Just about got his toes back in. Surely he won't get a flag for that. But look at the acceleration through the flick for the double-double dismount. Lovely work.
Well, it looks like we've got a fantastic final on our hands already.
It'll come down to difficulty because Zhu Kai hit a 6.5 in terms of difficulty for his on his way to his 16. This guy was equally solid in his performance. I wonder what the difficulty difference will be.
Well, 16 the score registered by Zhu Kai. It'll be close. And that's what we want for the Asian Games individual apparatus finals. The closer, the better. Those nail-biting finishes really do make the event something special. We saw it yesterday in both the men's and women's individual all-around finals. Particularly in the women's, Su Jong-hong from DPRK really gave the Chinese a run for their money in the individual. She was ahead of the 2 Chinese gymnasts at the halfway point. They came through to take the gold and silver in the end, but it did make for a very exciting final. And it looks like we've got something similar to developing already today in this men's floor apparatus final.
2 top floor routines to kick us off. Just trying to recap. Double-double straight, double-double tuck. He had half twisting 1 and 3. And he worked out of a twist into 2.5. He did 2.5 into 2.5. It's going to be very close on difficulty, maybe a 10th between them. It'll come down to performance.
And both performances, it has to be said, were very strong. Not a lot to be taken away there from the judges. Little bits and pieces here and there, but it's going to be close. It's a great start. Of course, we've still got another representative of DPR Korea, Zhongchol Zhou, to look forward to, and of course Liang Fuliang from China. And the Japanese have been having a pretty good game so far as well, so plenty to look forward to as we move through this men's floor final. But certainly a great start.
Well, the way they're taking their time on the judging for the first couple of performances, it'll be a debate on start value. Looking at the 2 performances, this was very solid from the DPRK gymnast, but there was a lovely light virtuoso touch from Zhu Kai. Well, and that was the difference.
15.55 the score. So Zhu Kai, the man we're looking at right now, holds on to the lead. Se Guangri with a 15.55 in second place.
And the difference in start value was 2/10 in favour of Zhu Kai.
So is it the teammate of Ri, Zhongchol Zhou? Another representative of DPR Korea steps up to the floor. He's seen 2 amazing routines. Let's see what he can produce in this final.
2.5 twist into full, or was it double? We'll have to have another look at that. Certainly very easily round, and this guy gave a few shocks in the all-round final, found himself in the lead after 2. That's lovely work. Now, if you dive onto all 4s like that, you've got to land solidly on 2 feet before you do it. Otherwise, the judges will call it a disguise move, and you could get a deduction. But this is lovely. Look at him. You can tell the guy can work pommel horse. Settles. Always a crowd pleaser, the old flares on floor. Very precise. Nice linking. You see, they favour that dive onto all 4s. It's better than taking a pace, provided you land solidly first. Waiting for that whistle. Double twisting front to finish.
Well, he didn't have the big double rotators that we saw from the first 2 competitors, so not quite the difficulty perhaps there, but there was some nice elements in there. I think the strongest part of that routine for my personal preference there was the pommel work, the flares that he was doing on the floor there, very dynamic. And it's worth remembering that there are pre-required elements in these routines.
Yep, you've got to tumble forwards, backwards, sideways. You need non-acrobatic skills as well. There's a full twist at the end of that run. And his non-acrobatic work, which was pommel-based, was superb. But he wasn't too bad on the tumbling. It's just the difficulty. He's putting 1.5 twists where the others put 2.5. This is the pommel work, up into flare, beautifully pirouetted, undercutting into splits. Some nice work, but 15.2 is a reflection of the start value, which was only 5.8. So he was over half a mark down in terms of difficulty.
Well, he has also qualified for the pommel final, and that might be a hint of some of the activity we can expect later on in that final a little later on today. So, Zhu Kai still holds on to the lead for China. Sei Guangri in second place for DPR Korea as the first of the Kazakhstani gymnasts stepped up to the floor. Stepan Gorbachev.
Been a tough act to follow. 3 good routines, one not so difficult but beautifully performed. Lovely double straight with full and lovely body line. Lovely start. 1.5 twist, full twist, 1.5 twist, and that twisting combination will earn him a 10th or 2 extra. Oh dear, just didn't set it up. The half out of the 2.5, so big deduction, 8/10 there. All Arabian double, and he shot that one out as well. So he's at 1.3 away in landings. He will not be at the races. There's the favourite flare. He'll get a round of applause for this. Look at this, spindling around, undercutting, keeping the swing. Excellent linkage. 1.3 away for landings. The difficulty will be affected as well. He'll be in the 5s for difficulty, so unfortunate. Full twisting double to finish. Well, we've seen some good work.
Well, that was a brave routine there. There were 1 or 2 mistakes. What I liked about that was that he didn't shy away from the big rotators, though. He's one of the taller gymnasts, and early on there he got that full twisting double straight in there. Pretty tough to do when you're a tall gymnast like Gorbachev.
Pretty tough to do, whatever size. But you're right, long levers, it's a long way around.
And there it is.
That's beautiful, beautifully timed twist.
Held it straight all the way around. That was a good start. Shame that the mistakes came a little later on.
There's a double Arabian, which he didn't get hold of. There's a 5, possibly an 8. This was okay because it's pretty safe. If you're a master pommel worker, you can live through those links. But the tumbling had errors. Not so the start and the finish. Good opener, good closer, but the bit in the middle gave him problems.
Well, there is Zhu Kai, current leader on men's floor. Looks like he should not have too many difficulties holding on to that position at this stage. We're halfway through the men's floor final. 4 of the gymnasts have gone, 4 still remaining. We've got the 2 Koreans still to come, Liang Fuliang of China and Shun Kuwahara of Japan to look forward to as well, as we await the score of Stepan Gorbachev. There it is, 14.4. Well, paying the price there for those couple of mistakes that he made.
So there'll be a little break now with the next 4 given the opportunity to warm up. When they're 8 in the final, they'll split the warm-up, because it's a long wait if you're number 8, and that's a poem.
So, 4 remaining finalists present to the judges, and this might be a moment for us just to discuss the judging system for gymnastics. If you are new to the sport, what the judges are looking for are combinations of difficulty and style. We have 8 judges split into 2 panels. There's an A panel and a B panel. The A panel are concerned with the difficulty of the maneuvers and how well they're executed. The B panel, 6 judges looking at the style of the routine. Of those 6 style judges, the highest and lowest scores are deducted. The remaining 4 averaged, and when you add the A score to the B score, you have a total for the run, and that is how the winners are decided. Now, Mitch, it's a tricky balance to get right for the gymnasts. Some of them bite off more than they can chew when it comes to the difficult maneuvers. Some of them don't push hard enough.
Well, you're not going to win unless you're doing top difficulty with top execution. And that, you're right, it's the balance. And it comes down to experience. There are guys out there who can throw really, really big moves. It comes down to competition readiness. It comes down to preparation. I've seen top-class gymnasts, Yang Fu Yang, he's going to threaten. He can work floor. But I've seen top-class gymnasts get lost in routines. Tamita's a perfect example in the World Championships in Aarhus 6 weeks ago.
Well, they rattled through that warm-up, wasting no time to get into the competition action. Next to go for Korea, Seung-il Kim.
Nice 1 and 3, but he's out of the zone with 2 feet. It's going to be 3/10 away. Twisting 1 3/4. Double twist into half twist. By now you'll be familiar with the guys that dive into those 4-point positions at the end. They've got to be very careful. They can't be doing that all the time to disguise landings. That's a nice wide arm. They have to demonstrate strength. Easy through the double twist. Good acceleration through the flick, and 2.5 twist, very steady at the end.
We saw some great performances from the Korean team in the team finals.
A very well prepared team, and they're a bit disappointing of late, but they have got some wonderful, there's 3/10 away there, but they do produce some sparkling individual performances. That was lovely. Look at the technique. 1.5 hits the shoulders, bounces a little bit. That's a real rattler. 2.5 twist, good way to finish.
I was very impressed with the Korean men on high bar in the team final. Floor perhaps not their strongest point.
No, their flare apparatus is parallel bars and high bar for them. A very, very good gymnastic nation.
15.2, well, that's not a bad score.
Takes him into third.
Moved him into equal third place with Zhou of DPRK. Still the leader, though, Zhu Kai from China. His score, 16-0, the only one of the gymnasts so far to get into the 16s. The next of the Koreans, Soo Myun Kim.
I like this gymnast. 1.5 twist, full twist, 1.5. Nothing wrong with that. A little bit low on the final somersault. Some of them can really bounce it up. Oh, that's lovely. That's a super series. Just got a little bit lost at the end. Very high in the 2.5 twist. Pulled nice and hard there. Good wide arm technique. 1.5 twisting 1 and 3. He's got some nice touches. Kicking out of the 1 and 3 front. Lovely shape on the triple Russian swing. He had an up and downer in the all-round, but still a very, very accomplished gymnast. Big breather, and the big dismount, full twisting double, and he landed it very well indeed. He had an up and downer in the all-round, but that's more like what he's capable of. There's your leader.
He should be happy with that one, and he is. So's the coach. Well, delight amongst the Koreans after that routine from Soo Myun Kim.
I really do like his work. Nice line, 1.5 full, 1.5. absolutely nailed the start. And that's superb. The height in the 1.5 twisting 1 and 3. And he rolled it out fairly smoothly. He started beautifully and he finished just as well. Look at that.
Well, he's looking for something more than 15.2 to get into the medal positions, and he could well do it with that performance.
He should do. Very little given away. Again, it comes down to difficulty. Most of them have been high 5s and 6s, low 6s in difficulty.
Well, Zhu Kai just a moment ago there looking quietly confident. He's got 16, the current leader. Still awaiting the score of Su Myun Kim. Still 2 gymnasts remaining, and the next gymnast up, Liang Fuliang, could upset the order. He's the bronze medalist from the World Championships. Well, there we go. Su Myun Kim, a 15.6, which puts him at the moment in the 2nd place, so he can be happy with that. But let us see what Liang Fuliang can do from China. He's a great all-round athlete, but I do believe floor is his strongest piece of apparatus. He took a 3rd place in Aarhus recently at the World Championships. And he could upset the order of the top 3.
Well, he's no slouch, and we flagged him up at the start. He can live in this company. Double straight full, and look at the landing.
So
little
solid.
Little kink of the legs, but beautiful landing. And that's an impressive opener. Double twist, full twist, 1 and 3, that's a good line. So, piling the start value on. He'll get into the 6s for start value if he keeps this up. Half twisting 1 and 3 with a lovely line. Isn't it great? The last man up. First man up's way ahead, and the last man posts a challenge like this. This is exciting stuff. Lovely entry into the flares. Good undercut. And settles into splits. This needs to be done very quietly to give a tempo to the exercise. Lovely. I'll tell you what, if he nails this dismount, it will be extremely interesting. Big pull. 2.5 twists and just the tiniest of adjustment with the feet. But I'll tell you, he's going to be into the mid-6s for difficulty. Not a lot wrong in execution. It's a nail-biter.
Well, for the first time in the final, Zhu Kai, his younger teammate, starts to look a little bit questioningly. He understands that his lead could be threatened from Fuliang.
Lovely grab. Look at that. Full twisting double. Landed beautifully. Double twist here. Full twist. And the 1 and 3, that is one combination. Lovely technique. Superb. 2.5 twist. And there's that tiny little shuffle backwards. It could make the difference. It
could. Well, it's going to be close between the 2 Chinese gymnasts. It's going to be very close. And as you say, 15.8, it's not enough. It is not enough. Zhu Kai holds on to his lead. Liang Fuliang goes into 2nd place. A look of relief from the young Zhu Kai. And, well, Su Myun Kim moves down to 3rd place for Korea. The 8th and final finalist to go. The only Japanese gymnast in the final, Shun Kuwahara. He's seen some amazing performances. This will have to be special if he wants to get amongst the top 3.
He's not quite got the armory. Nice easy start. 1.5 twist, full twist, and zooms round at the end, but very low on the exit to the 1.5 twisting forward somersault. Whip over, 1.5 twisting, 1 and 3 in the puck position, but missed his shoulders. Now, if you miss your shoulders, you bounce it out, and it should be construed as a poor landing. 2.5 twist, half twist. So much going on out there. Twisting is the way to build the difficulty. 1 and 3 again, missing his shoulders. That's nice. That's the man of position. qualifying for the strength element. Beautifully done. It's these little links which give a pace and a balance to the exercise. Also allows the gymnast to breathe a little bit. Like that. Needs a big finish. Full twisting double, but a little bit scrappy. Not quite in the medals league. Lots of support there.
Plenty of support from the Japanese fans in the audience. I don't think, as you say, it'll be upsetting the top three. Just while we're waiting for his score, though, it's worth pointing out that Shun Kuwahara actually suffered a broken neck a few years ago while he was studying at the Nippon Sports Science University, and quite some achievement to come back from an injury like that to perform in this way.
That's lovely. Whip over, but you see, he missed the shoulders completely there, and that will be a 3/10 deduction.
I think he'd be happy to be through to the floor final and competing in amongst this kind of crowd. 15.175 the score for Kuwahara. So the lead is secured for this man. Zhu Kai from China takes gold on floor at the Asian Games. His teammate Liang Fuliang taking second place. There he is. And the bronze medal going to Soo Myun Kim from Korea. A great final and a great start to the Apparatus, the first of the Apparatus days here in Aspire Hall number 2. So the athletes march out with a gold medalist leading the way, Zhu Kai from China.
Super final. Start off the proceedings. China demonstrating once again strength in depth.
Well, just a little recap. They've already taken gold in the men's team and the women's team, and they've taken gold in the individual all-around for both men's and women's as well. And there we go, confirmation that they've taken gold and silver in the first of the Apparatus finals, the men's floor. Zhu Kai, the gold, Liang Fuliang, silver, and a good performance from Soo Myun Kim from Korea to take the bronze. Well, we still have 2 more finals to look forward to for the men. That's the pommel horse and the rings. And the women will be in action on vault and on asymmetric bars. So we've seen some action from the men on floor there. Fantastic it was too. It will be the turn of the women next on vault. The most explosive and dynamic of the gymnastic Apparatus events.
It'll be a cracker of a final. Everyone waiting to see Chung fight. Superb voltage. He held a little bit back in qualifying. We left a half twist off her repertoire. There'll be a real challenge from Jung Hong from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. She didn't hold back. She did 2.5 twists. It'll be a head-to-head. And the DPRK gymnast is the only one to have done 2 maximum value vaults in qualifying. It will be some fun.
Well, DPRK really have emerged at this Asian Games as a fairly major challenger to the Chinese domination, if not completely across the board, certainly in certain areas. Looking back to the women's all-around finals, where we saw Su Jong Hong putting pressure on the 2 Chinese athletes, it really was quite some competition. Taking a quick look back now, Mitch, at the finalists. There's Soo Myun Kim on floor.
Some lovely light touches, and I'm glad he's had a good day. Giving himself a round of applause. Liang Fuliang, he was a quiet tip at the start. We flagged him up as a potential, and the way he opened, well, he had such nice work. Great twister. That was the difference.
That could have lost him the gold, that small stumble right at the end there, underlining the fact that every little bit counts.
And in terms of virtuoso performance, this was the boy. He was on form, he had the difficulty, he had the style, and he had that lightness of touch, which gives him a label of virtuoso. Super work.
Well, he came out, stormed into a blistering routine there. He was the first of the finalists to go on floor, so quite a lot of pressure, being the first one, being the man to open up the final, but he dealt with the pressure well, for a youngster as well, and showing that he really is truly world class to take the gold medal here at the 15th Asian Games in Doha. Continuing a fine performance by the Chinese gymnasts, the same team that we saw at the World Championships in October in Aarhus, and many of these athletes, if not all of them, I'm sure will make up the body of the team for the Olympic Games in 2 years' time in Beijing.
If you've ever been privileged, as I have, to see the situation in Beijing, the strength in depth is mind-boggling. There are 12 and 13-year-olds performing with the maturity of adult gymnasts, and you mentioned Zhu Kai as virtually a boy, presenting that attitude, that maturity. There are so many there. It's unbelievable. And to come through that's a competition in its own right. Wonderful stuff. Victory ceremony for the men's apparatus final. And what an opener it was. You said earlier that the overriding feeling on finals day is a festival, and that was a festival, a celebration, the floor exercise we've just seen. There was not one major error. They all were on song, they all gave it their best, and the three that came out on top are waiting in the wings at this moment.
The victory ceremony for the men's floor final.
The first of 3 gold medals for the men to be decided today. It's been a lovely, once again, demonstration and a great day for China. Korea getting in on the act. Those two yellow and red leotards, warm with pride. Twisting his way to gold. Very secure, technically brilliant, mature. What a future that 18-year-old has got. He looks a lad, but he has the preparation and the attitude of a man. To go up first, realizing there are 8 performances to follow, knowing that you have to set the standard, he did it fantastically. Professor Bruno Grandi there. Two very important men in the administration of gymnastics for Asia and for the Federation International Gymnastics, Bruno Grandi. They will present the trophies.
Winner of the bronze medal, representing the Republic of Korea,
well-deserved bronze medal. Superb effort. Korea He had an up and downer in the all-round, but today he came good. Soo-myung Kim takes his bronze medal, well deserved. He waited for 4 events in the all-round to hit a routine. Then the smiles came. The smiles certainly came today.
Winner of the silver medal, representing the People's Republic of China, Liang Fuliang.
Bronze at the World Championships, silver at the Asian Games. Liang Fuliang demonstrating once again the incredible strength in depth of the Chinese squad. We talked earlier, it's a long road to Beijing, and every one of these competitions is a step forward. Liang Fuliang takes the silver for men's floor. Bruno Grandi there, done a great job as president of the FIG. Looking composed.
Of the gold medal and Asian Games champion, representing the People's Republic of China, Zhu
Kai allowing himself a little smile. They're delighted, and so they should be. Superb demonstration. The word virtuoso is bandied about these days, but this young man is just that. He attacks his tumbles, shows control in his linking movements. Zhu Kai for China, a worthy gold medalist on men's floor. And when you've beaten a World Championship bronze medalist, what does the future hold? Looking relaxed now. China dominating to take gold and silver.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the People's Republic of China.
Great final, Richard.
Fantastic, the first of 5 finals that we'll be seeing today. They're the medalists once again. Zhu Kai of China, Liang Fuliang of China, Soo-myung Kim of Korea. A great start to today's gymnastics. We've got the women who'll be in action on vault next, then the men on pommels, women again on asymmetric bars, and the men once again on rings. So that is the first of 5 pieces of apparatus. The medals to be decided today. Tomorrow, the 5th and final day of action for artistic gymnastics, where we'll see men's vault, men's high bar, men's pommel, and of course women's beam and women's floor.
You know, a feature of the Chinese men's work is they've got this mixture successfully between experience and youth.
And what's great to see is these younger members of the team coming through. They've really picked up the competition skills, let's say, of the more experienced athletes. They look confident. They handle themselves so well under the spotlight of the big arena.
Well, I've dined out on this story, and I've told you this story, that they don't really, they pace themselves. They don't really put a lot on certain world championships. In 2001, the team, they didn't even send a competent team. They sent one young guy who was here, who worked earlier, and Feng Ying. And he came from the blue at 16 and won the world title ahead of Ivankov, who was all geared up to get his third world title. And this young 16-year-old comes out, who's now a mature 21-year-old. That's the kind of strength in depth. That's why China will stay on top for a long, long time. And I'll tell you what, they're very popular on the world scene because they're real sportsmen. Friendship is on the top of their agenda.
Which is fantastic to see, and on that point, the Asian Games gymnastics so far has been fantastic. The atmosphere of the competitors really has been a joy to see. There's been some real enjoyment out of what's going on here. Okay, yes, there is pressure. Yes, Asian Games medals are up for grabs. But none of the athletes seem to be forgetting what this is all about. Enjoyment and celebration. And it'd be interesting to see, I don't know, in your opinion, Mitch, how many of these Chinese athletes do you think we'll be seeing in Beijing in 2 years' time?
For the men, all of them. I can't see, when they're working a young end of the team as well, I can't see anyone getting in there. They've got strength and depth, allowing for injury and all the other things. But I think, having spoken at length, an interview, Yang Wei, after the Arcus World Championship, he said they have their squad. It may not be just the 6 we've seen, it could be 12, but they're together as a unit, and I can't see them wanting to break it.
Well, they obviously do work very well together as a team. They took team gold here, as did their women's team. And you can see it in between competition routines when they're sitting out on the bench. The atmosphere, the body language is there between the team members and the coaches. It works as a unit.
Exactly so. And as you say, the women are adopting the same policy. The fact that you've got the great Zhang Nan, who's not taking part in the all-round, but she's got enough experience to do that. They used He Ning and Zhu Zhuru, who did a great job. The youngsters, if you like. And they're working exactly the same trick. You know, experience. Zhang Nan, there's no way at 20 that she will hang up her straps by the time Beijing comes along. She's the anchor. I think they've got it exactly right, both the men and the women.
So stay with us. Just allow our gymnasts to make their final preparations and assemble behind the stickers.
I think what has been very good to see here, though, as well, as although there is that sort of relative level of domination from the Chinese, they haven't had it all their own way all of the time. There's been some great challenges from the Japanese, from the Koreans, and particularly from the DPRK team, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, I'm sorry. They challenged the Chinese team, particularly in the women's individual all-around yesterday.
Well, I'll see. Looking through at the stats, the only gymnast in the women's vault qualifications to post 2 maximum difficulties was a DPRK gymnast, Hong. And if anyone's going to take Zhong Fei to task, Zhong Fei, I beg your pardon, it will be this young lady. And to go head-to-head with one of the greatest vaulters the world's ever seen, well, that's something in store. That could be the first time that China don't get on that #1 rostrum. It would be good for the sport if it happened.
It would. Well, she was in good form yesterday, and let's hope she'll be in good form today. We're going to be seeing her a little bit later on asymmetric bars. She's made it through to the finals there. She's also made it through to the women's vault final, which we're just waiting for now.
She had a problem on the beam, didn't she, the all-round? She was really challenging, ahead at halfway.
but that's where it went wrong for her, the beam. And she hasn't actually qualified for the beam final, so perhaps that's the chink in her armour. But she's a relatively young gymnast and certainly showing a lot of potential. And as you say, it would be great to see one or two of these other nations coming through to challenge the Chinese. And I think they will, but we'll find out exactly how that goes in the vault in a little while. Having said that, the Chinese women, when it comes to vaults, a pretty tough act to beat.
They have really, and this new design of the vault has helped them a lot. I wonder if it's a coincidence, I don't think it is, that the rise in Chinese female vaulting standard has come with the new innovation of this vaulting platform, which is better sprung, it's higher now for the women, and they just seems to suit the Chinese.
There's been a lot of adjustments necessary to go from the traditional vaulting horse, which was the apparatus used previously, to this new vaulting table, and we'll be looking at some of that a little closer as we get into the women's final. But you were mentioning the other day, Mitch, that it's one of the critical points is the hand placement on the table. It needs to be near the beginning, near the start of that table, to get maximum transfer of momentum and get the vertical elevation required for the bigger tricks.
If you get a chance to get a close-up of the apparatus, you'll see a line, different colour in the leather, and where the line breaks, on or beyond that line is where you get maximum spring. And the best, if you get beyond halfway, you don't really get the full value. So it's between that line and the midpoint. And on a two-handed, on a split hand, like in the Sukahara base vaults, one hand hits, you'll find that that one hand will be on that line for a really good repulsion. That's where the spring is. Because it blocks you, the angle will block you upwards. It's quite daunting, actually, the amount you get from it.
Well, they're coming in at quite a pace. 25 metres the length of the in run, and of course there's the springboard that they use to launch, let's say, onto that table. So by the time they've had their in run and taken off from the springboard, there's quite some impact on the vaulting table.
You need good strong wrists and very quick reaction through the shoulders.
Well, we'll get to have a look at that in a few short moments. Just one or two last pieces of preparation being made as the judging panels prepare for the next group of finalists. We'll be back with you shortly. Well, here we go with the next of our apparatus finals. It's the turn of the women to step into hall number 2 here at the Aspire Dome. They'll be in action on the vault, getting the action, and the men will be in action on the pommel horse. So we'll have 2 apparatus finals going on in the next period: women's vault, men's pommel horse. We've already seen the men's floor, a fantastic start to the individual apparatus finals. Great atmosphere in the hall. The world's very best in action. Teams here in Doha representing countries, 23 countries in all, from all over the Asian continent. There is Him Wei Lim from Singapore. So the men finalists for the pommel horse march in, followed by the 8 finalists for the women's vault. Lim Wei Lim, Sejong Hong, Ninkova of Uzbekistan, Chung Fei of China, Yamura of Japan, Hong of DPRK, Jujuru of China, and Han Sol-yu of Korea. Now, they will get a few moments of warm-up on the apparatus before the finals gets underway, and just while they're doing that, there go the men heading over towards the pommel horse. And just looking at the qualifying score for the women on vault, interesting that although China had the highest qualifying score with Chung Fei, the second and third highest qualifying scores were by Hong and Hong of the DPR Korea. Zhu Zhiru of China had the fourth highest qualifying score. We were discussing it earlier that the Democratic People's Republic of Korea have been putting up a very strong challenge to the dominance of China in many of these pieces of apparatus. And although the Chinese women are renowned for their vaulting prowess, well, if the qualifying scores are anything to go by, we should have some competition on our hands here for this women's final.
There's Sejong Hong, who was capable of 2.65. Difficulty in vaulting. And that will be take a little bit of beating to have 2.65. There she is. And really lost her focus a little bit in the all-round. She got upset with herself. There's the world's greatest vaulter, Chung Fei. Twice she's been world champion.
So 8 finalists split into 2 groups of 4. Where the first 4 to compete on the women's vault. Over on pommel horse, the first 4 of the 8 men's finalists.
And the men's pommel standard has been very, very high. They've got the greatest exponent ever on the apparatus. And Soo-min Kim again. They've got a bronze on floor. Smiling.
Having a busy time of it today.
That's the man.
King of the pommel horse, they call him. It's going to be very interesting to see what he can produce. On paper, nobody in this final can really challenge him. But mistakes can happen. In 2003 at the World Championships in California, he made mistakes.
Certainly did. Fell off.
Fell off. Didn't come away with the gold medal that everyone had tipped him for. But that was a little bit of a blip on his pretty much fantastic pommel horse record. And it's certainly going to be a joy to see him in action today. So, here we go. The women in action for their individual apparatus final. The first of theirs, the vault, and the men on pommel horse. First to compete in the women's final. From Singapore, Him Wei Lim, the only representative of Singapore in the gymnastics events. And we've seen some fantastic moments from her. The consistency has been a little bit of a problem, but we've seen some real moments of brilliance from this young gymnast over the last 2 or 3 days of competition.
She's done such a good job to get into this final. 2 vaults, the average taken. She's opening with a low difficulty, 4.6 value. Probably going to be a piked handspring, front somersault. If she goes forward, if she goes backwards, it'll be a full twisting tuck sukahara. 4-6 in this company, and the main names will be throwing 6s. She's relying on style. Handspring pike front, nicely done, little skip at the end, but that's a good, quiet, solid vault. Remember, only 4.6 difficulty. She'll get a style mark from 10, and the 2 marks will be added together. Good vault though, nice contact. Just lost the legs a little, and that little step at the end was the result of tucking too early in anticipation, trying to guarantee the rotation and slightly overdoing it.
She didn't really need to do that, but easy to say, more difficult to do when you're rotating quickly like that. It all happens so quickly on vault. It's a very explosive event.
Clean vaulting though. Good opener, good steady opener. And the thing is, so many of these gymnasts don't train 2 vaults. These days, the only time you need 2 vaults is in a final. In the old days, everyone had to have 2 vaults. So here, the specialists. If you take 4.6 off the mark, you get an idea of how clean the vault was. 8.9. You knew that, Richard.
Well, there we go, 13.5 the total. And as we've said before, the 2 different values need to be balanced, the difficulty and the style.
Here she goes, vault number 2. Going backwards. Nice straight Sukahara. Again, not the most difficult of vaults. 4.6, same tariff.
Once again, another gymnast really enjoying her time at the games.
Why, if you're the only representative of the nation, you make a vault final, you're in the individual all-round, what an outing she's had. That's a nice shape there. Pulled it round really well. I like to see that. Not too difficult, but good, clean execution. That's what I was saying, it's a celebration. It's Chung Fai there, who's still got to compete. She's not precious. Congratulating all the gymnasts when they've done their job. I love it.
Great to see.
Absolutely love it.
Great to see. So, Kim Wai Lim from Singapore, the first of 8 finalists in the women's vault.
She'll probably get the same sort of mark, maybe a 10th or 2 more, because that was a 9 execution, I think. She may be looking at 13.6, which is a good score on a 4.6 tariff vault. There's Chung Fai.
Well, I believe you're going to go straight on the horse and come back to the second vault score in a moment. So if our judges indicate they're ready on the horse.
There's the debate, the inevitable debate. You have to live with it, because if the differentiation in the B jury marks is too great on the counting scores, they will insist that they get closer together.
Well, we've discussed this before, you may not realise, but there was a new code of points, a new judging system brought in earlier on this year, and still 1 or 2 little gremlins being worked out in the system, but overall I think the system is working very, very well and has brought some real advantages to international gymnastics. So 13.5 for the first vault, 13.15 for the second vault.
13.325, the average.
The average between the 2. So we take a break for a moment from women's vault, move over to the pommel horse, where the men are competing. The first of the finalists, Chiang Wei-lin from Chinese Taipei.
Gets the single leg work over first, but he's clunked the horse twice and used strength to get the handstand. Quite expensive, that opener. Multiple circles on one handle. He'll rear his body back in. That's nice. Triple stretch swing on the end, called a Fendi. There's a spindle in flare. About the same age as Richard, that move. I'm going to say it's a very young move. Oh, he got into trouble there. Tried another flare and a spindle. It didn't work, but somehow he's not on the deck. How, I don't know. So a few little problems. But when you see that, it suddenly hits home how difficult men's pommel horse is.
I always think it's good. Good's maybe the wrong word, but it's good to see people make mistakes, because it gives you a yardstick, as you said, of just how hard these pieces of apparatus are. Obviously, I don't want to see people make the mistakes, but we're looking at some of the very best in the world here. And when they do make mistakes, then it just does remind you, as you say, how hard this is.
Well, that was nice. He did those triple Vendis triple stretch swing, Russian circles. Flared in the spindle very well at one stage, but got into awful trouble when he tried to do it again. That was nice, good trouble in flare. Bent his arms and really exploded there. A flare too far. Analysing, discussing.
14.6 the score. That's actually not too bad, and this is part of the new system where mistakes with the old system like that would have really been hit hard, but they get away with a little bit more now, a little bit more emphasis given to the difficulty of the tricks in some ways. But we leave the men's pommel for a moment and we go back over to women's vault. Soo Jong-hong from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Expecting great things from this gymnast. 2.5 twist, smacks it in to start with. Top difficulty. What an opener. Now this is the gymnast we flagged as perhaps breaking Chinese dominance.
Well, she took a bronze medal, ultimately, in the individual all-round yesterday.
That's a good vault. Look, 2.5 twist. Smack bang centre in the corridor, just the pace. She'll get no deductions for alignment. She will get deductions for a little break of form. There, you saw the legs slow getting together. Once they were together, a tiny kink before she landed, and a pace there.
But that was a strong opening, and it puts the pressure straight away onto the Chinese gymnasts.
6.5 difficulty. So even if she only got 8, it's 14.5. If they give her 9, it's 15.5. So that's a real marker. I can tell you, having spoken to gymnasts in coaching situations between vaults, I wonder if they really listen. 15.5.
That's a great start. Well, the pressure really beyond the highest scorers. The highest score in the qualification round of 15.25. That's an average, of course, but gives you an idea. That was for Chung Fei. A 15.25. Already, Hong of DPRK has registered a 15.5. This is going to be some competition.
She's gone for another top value vault. Half on, 1.5 off, took a giant couple of paces forward. She's going to lose 5 for that dismount. Then they'll track it back and say the flight off mustn't have been perfect. There's Chung Fei. She's focused, little sprint. But I'll tell you, that was great vaulting. 2 6.5s.
Well, Soo Jong-hong qualified. She was the second highest of the qualifiers.
Half on, 1.5 off. And there, 5/10, a gift to the judges.
And a gift to the Chinese gymnasts as well, I've no doubt. As we saw on the floor, a little mistake like that could cost.
Lovely half on though. Just broke the second flight a little bit late coming off the horse, but that's good vaulting. Now, that set a marker that the others have to beat. She's not made a clear error. If she got 8.5 for that on a 6.5, it means she's going to get another 15, which gives her a 15.25 average. If she breaks 15 now, it's a job for the others. To get 15, she needs an 8.5 form score.
Well, they're looking quietly confident. They know that they've put a lot of pressure onto the two Chinese gymnasts, Chung Fei and Zhu Jiru. And she certainly gave them a run for her money yesterday in the individual all-around finals. She was the leader after the first 2 pieces of apparatus.
A little bit of relief showing there. Good gymnast.
Well, 15.237, the average score. A great start and a tough score to beat. She's laid down the challenge for Chung Fei and Zhu Jiru. This is going to be a great final. Ji Hoon Kim over on pommel horse for Korea.
Now the support apparatus suits the Koreans. They're good on parallel bars as well. They have good, strong awareness and they can swing from the shoulders. Lovely extension there, look at that. Nice little hop, but there, once as soon as they shake pikes, if they can't stay extended from the shoulder, there's not a lot you can do. Because what happens, the shoulders stop, they go over your base of support, and the balance has gone awry. He's really disappointed. He started so beautifully.
He's looking flustered now. So difficult when you've come off like that to get back and finish the routine.
Well, he's got to do a calculation as well. He could actually repeat the move to make sure the difficulty mark is secure. Because 8/10 away, if you do a 7-value move, you can still get 14. Oh, and he's lost it. It's a pity.
Just can't get back into that zone, that psychological zone. It's a tough call.
Well, I'll tell you something. That pommel routine is going to seem like a lifetime to him now. And the equivalent on the women's side has been, once you drop off, now then, come on, boy. Get on there and show us you can swing. Matter of personal pride. His best bet is to circle all the way up the horse. And that's what he's opted to do. He's opted to Magyar. He'll come back in a Zivado. There he goes. Now that's how he can swing. Directs beautiful work in the Stockley. Almost exploded, but kept it under control. Now if he keeps going, he'll get a reasonable difficulty score, and he could get into high 13s. This is the beauty of that code, but he's missed the dismount as well. So he'll get a deduction for no recognised dismount. He will get, look at him, he's so dejected. He'll be way down there, be lucky to get into the 13s. Tough, indeed.
That is a shame. Ji-Hoon Kim from Korea.
Have a look at this. He had some nice work on that handle. That's how he started. He got his finger. He didn't get around on that grip. Piked it up, and he's on the... Look at him. Such disappointment showing. Lost it 2 on the McGillney. Gave up the ghost. But he can swing, this young man. Short on the handstand. So another problem. If you add all that up, he just can't get in. He'd be lucky to get into the 13s.
Well, he can put his tracksuit on now and leave it for today, but we will be seeing him in action again tomorrow. He's made it through to the final in the high bar, where he was the second highest of the qualifiers. So if he can recompose himself, get his head back together for tomorrow, well, he is going to be a challenger for a medal in the high bar. Not so on pommels, unfortunately. 12.5. He's going to be out of the running today. So, we'll take a break from the men's pommel, head back over to women's vault. Anna Ninkova from Uzbekistan.
She's flagged a pike front somersault half turn. Which she did, but very late and very low. If your hands are on the top of that platform for too long, you can't get the block, you can't get the repulsion. Yep, and that's exactly what the coach is doing.
Read the lips. Even though we can't speak Uzbekistani. Here we go, we can see it now on the replay.
Way too long on the top.
Now, we were discussing earlier the change of equipment, moved to a vaulting table instead of a vaulting horse, and critical the hand placement.
Yeah, she was very late on, stayed on, needs to get on early to block it upwards. It's so quick. This is called blocking or striking, and you can see her body was too far over her shoulders by the time she got clear of the table. Have a chance to put it right though. Now if she gets, my guess, 7-8 for execution, probably get 8 for execution, add it to 5, she's looking at low 13s.
The scores from both vaults, of course, added together and averaged to make a total. 13.325 the score for Ninkova's first vault.
Pretty generous. That means they gave her 8.3 or 8.35 for execution. So very generous. Big vault needed. 4-6. She's gone down in difficulty. It's just a straight Sugahara, which was basically dished, not really extended. They'll give it a straight though. It wasn't clearly piked. They were yelling at each other yesterday. They're getting on well today, these two.
Settle their differences. Let's take a look back now at this vault technique. The hand positioning, critical.
She blocked quite well there. Push the feet into the horse to guarantee the rotation, but then you've got to press the shoulders back. Let's have a look. Feet in beautifully, but if you don't press the shoulders back strongly, you don't get rid of the kink, which makes it a pike rather than a straight. Nice fault there. That's better. Smiling.
Her job done for now.
She's stepped up a bit.
Oh, she did herself a few favours on the second vault. So 13.4 her score average over the two. We go back to pommel. Soo Myun Kim. We've seen him on floor. Here he is on pommel.
Maybe that bronze on floor will set him up nicely to go well, and he has started beautifully. Look at this. There's the McGilney. His countryman came to grief here, but he's going beautifully. Good extended swing, back up onto the wood, travelling through on the Magyar. Back he goes in the Zavado. This is great stuff. Nice technique. Little clunk. And good leg separation in the sheer half. Now then, keep the swing. And he made the pirouette. He's having a good day.
He certainly is, as you say, using the bronze medal that he won in floor to bolster his motivation. The grin says it all. The coach is happy, he's happy.
He had a real up and down, didn't he, in the all-round. But this is lovely. There's the McGilney, lovely little straight body position, and look how he keeps the line in the multiple Vendy swing on the end. Single leg, a little bit of a kink there, but good. Watch this, nice little flick in the pickup, beautifully done. Swinging two legs, breaking into the flare, keeping the rhythm through the pirouette. That will do nicely.
Well, he wasn't the highest of the qualifiers of the two Korean gymnasts, but he certainly pulled the performance out on the day when it matters in this, the individual apparatus finals. Soo Myun Kim of Korea.
He's got a cheeky smile about him, and it took him 4 pieces in the all-around to get that smile on, but he's had it on all day.
He's doing okay now. He knows that he's going to register a pretty reasonable score. He's laid down something for the others to beat now.
.6 is out there in front, and that would be no problem for this young man.
Chao Kun, king of the pommels as he's known in gymnastics. Now on paper, he shouldn't have much trouble beating the Korean, but it's easier said than done. There's the score, 15.375. That is pretty good. He's happy with that. And now, Chao Kun needs to beat it. Before we see that, though, we're going to jump back over to vault for Chung Fai of China.
Very interesting that the two class vaulters are back-to-back here. 5'8", she's not gone for a 6'5" difficulty. She's got to nail it. Double twist, beautifully done. So much time in the air.
Right.
It's a 5'8" difficulty, but beautifully done. They're not going to take much off it.
Right on cue. Right on cue.
Now then, with a 5'8", if she gets 9, it's a 14.8 score. If she gets 9.5, it's 15.3. Let's have a look at this. It's beautifully performed. I can't see anything wrong with that flight in the air. And the landing with just that little hop, she's going to get a 9.6 in terms of the 10 mark at the 5'8", and you're looking at 15.3.
That body position in the air.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Beautiful.
And she's smack bang in the centre there. Look at this technique. Beautiful work. She's got to be in the 15s.
Look how close the legs are together in the twist. They don't budge a tiny little bit, and they stay jammed together for the landing as well.
Lovely.
15.175, so she's down a little bit on Hong of DPRK for the first vault, but what is she going to pull out of the bag for the second vault?
She knows she's got to do a 2.5 twist. She invented the vault. She's the first person to do it. It's a 6.5 if it's slag. That means, that's at 6.5, she's going to put that twist in. Superb. Half on, 1.5 on, double twist. She's not looking too confident. What was her average? 15.325. If this young lady bangs in a 15.5 or better, well, let's have a look. My mental maths might be a bit awry, but look, half on, 1.5 off. She wasn't accurate with the hand placement and a little bit askew at the end. But the judges aren't seeing what we're seeing. Look at that. She wasn't round. There's a deduction. Another deduction here. It's going to be about a 9.2. She could squeeze 15.7 out of this if she's very lucky.
It could be quite close, though. Once again,
yeah.
DPRK giving a bit of a rough ride to the Chinese.
Yeah, she could squeeze 15.6 if they're generous. But they shouldn't really give it 9 for execution.
Well, 15.237, the total she needs to beat. And it's a 15.4. Chung Fei goes into the lead in women's vault. She wasn't far off, yeah, 15.625 for that second vault. So a good competition, a great competition in this women's final. Chung Fei in the lead at this stage, and that is going to be tough to beat. Now, back over to men's pommel. The king of the castle, Chao Kun from China. This man, the very best in the world.
Look at the extension. This is what sets him apart. The height above the handles, the full extension from the shoulders. Just let's soak it up a bit. He hasn't broken form once. Huge difficulty. One of the few men to 7 on pommel horse. Look at this. Look at the separation here. Spindle in the flare. He's actually... Oh, and he's fallen off. Now, that happened in 2003 in Anaheim. And it's happened again here in the Asian Games. And it happens even to the very best of us.
Well, that is a real upset. Everybody was considering it was almost a foregone conclusion that this man would take gold on the pommel horse. But it was going so well. It was almost perfection. And then out of the blue, bang.
Hang on a second, because that's 8/10 away. He can still medal. Believe it or not, he can still medal. He's not going to take gold for this performance, but he's got so much difficulty. He'll be swinging away so that he can build up. And he went for a simple dismount as well. Off very quickly. You get a deduction for the dismount and the fall. So there we are. No gold medal for Chao Kun.
Well, that really is an upset. If there was one medal that could be considered a near foregone conclusion, it was this one for this man. But there you go. That is what sport is all about. Upsets can come. And it did. For the king of the pommel horse. You can see it in his face.
I want a close look at this flare because he lifted his hips very strongly and lumped. This was brilliant, beautiful. But when he came out, you see, he caught his foot, lifted his hips, and that means his foot dropped, clunked into the horse. There's no way back from that. But look at the spindling technique. There you go, bang. When the hips drop, your foot drops with it. There's nothing you can do, but can't you see? Look at it. Beautiful work.
Well, we got a glimpse of his brilliance in the first part of the routine there. It was looking pretty much perfect to my eyes.
Yeah, nothing wrong.
But there you go. It's all about fractions of millimetres between perfection and disaster.
What a day for him.
And it's a great day for the Koreans. He's taken bronze, Soo Myun Kim on floor, and at the moment he's leading in pommel, and he's just seen the world's best come off.
Well, it's not nice to win if someone falls off, but at the same time, if you hit and the other guy doesn't, you deserve to be in front.
It's the name of the game.
Yeah.
It's the name of the game. It's unfortunate. 14.65. I mean, he still scores a reasonable score considering the problems he had. But, yeah, he'll be out of the running for the gold medal with that. Very unfortunate. A real upset.
Isn't it nice to see that leotard there in this final from Qatar?
Well,
hey,
that is the leotard of one of the Qatari representatives.
That's great. Great to make an Asian Games final youthful nation, and there they are, in front of their home crowd. It's another little gymnast that's impressed me, Korean. You can't forget, of course, that the Chinese flag can still be flying with Yang Wei. You can't write that guy off. He's capable of a 15.8, 16 on pommels. There he is. There he is.
The winner of the gold in individual all-around.
And Tomita. He can swing pommels as well.
Tomita took bronze in the individual all-round yesterday. So still some big guns to come.
Interesting, when he fell off last in 2003, Hang Taibin got on and won gold for China, or shared gold, and it was with Tomita. So he's fallen off. Yang Wei's going to go up. Perhaps we're going to get a repetition. History might repeat itself. Look at him, he's still shaking his head. Yang Wei then will attempt to keep that Chinese flag flying. Look at Tomita, he's got such great body language, he's so relaxed. I asked him once, are you too laid back? Through an interpreter, I don't know if he got across properly. And he said, you can never be too laid back, I'm always in control.
So the first of the next group of vaulters for women. Representing Japan, Yumura.
Chenko full twist, just the pace forward, but very clean vaulting. And her whole face lights up when things are going well. Nice little Yurchenko full twist. Good lift off the top of the horse. Clean wrap. Slightly pike when she made contact. Let's have a look at this. Good low strike. Legs slightly awry. Went for a 5 difficulty. Probably get 8-9, 8-8 for performance. 13-8 to 14. Could get into the 14s.
Yumura, 13.7 the score for her first vault. She'll take a second vault now. The scores from both will be averaged to give her total.
Good technique in the run in. Oh, half on, pike front off, nicely done.
She registered a 14.45 for her total in the a 13.175. I apologise. In the qualification round, so it looks like she may well go better here.
Well, she chose a simpler vault, 4.8 difficulty, so she's not going to get anything more than the 13.7. There's the half arm pike off, but it was well executed. Little pace to the side. There's the half arm. Digging in for the pike to come off. And a little pace back. Around 13.5, I'd say. Good vaulting. Solid. 2 good vaults. Good performance.
The lead score at the moment on vault, 15.4. Zhong Fei of China. She won't be upsetting the top couple of places at this stage.
But it's about going out there and doing what you've trained, and that's exactly what she did. Good job.
competed, of course, in the team finals and the individual all-around yesterday, so she's had a couple of tough days of competition already. There's the total, 13.7.
Did very well to do that. Clean vaulting on less difficult vaults. Good consistent work.
She surpasses her score for the qualification round, so she can be happy with herself in this final round. We'll jump over to men's pommel horse for the next competitor representing DPRK, Jong Chol Jo.
Now he has got the armory. Have a look. Starts with a triple Russian or bendy swing, breaks into flare. There's a spindle. Plenty of work. Just made a little clip of the horse there and put an extra circle in to get his balance back. Beautifully done, but the judges will know. Steps up, 3 circles on the handle, into the Russian, steps down. Oh, this is good work. If he spindles in this flare, he does. That's a full spindle across the handle, so I'll tell you what. Oh, he cloaked there. He could have a bit of a challenge on here. Nice little hop, good dismount sequence, and he can punch the air because that will do him a business. He will take the lead. He knows it too, I think. He can smile, but 15.325, I think it is from memory. I don't know if that's going to be enough.
15.25 was his score in the qualification round, but he certainly looked happy with that one.
A little bit scruffy and lacking extension on times there, for instance. Piked in the circle, but got it back. The hand placement could be a problem. He could lose a deduction there, but he did go through. I think he might steal a march on the Korean. That hop dismount is very difficult to do in flare.
Well, it's interesting. The Korean scored a 15.45, Soo-Myun Kim, in the qualifiers. Jong Chol Jo here scored a 15.25. So on that basis, the Korean got the better score. Could be reversed right now, though. The score for Soo-Myun Kim is a 15.375. That is the lead score at the moment. There he is, closely watching the judges.
It's a cracker of a competition. And fair play to Chow Kun. He's made it a closer comp. Shouldn't wish a fall on anyone, but he's brought the competition to a very, very thrilling situation.
He has thrown it open. On the day, on his day, nobody could really beat him, but that is what sport is all about. You need to complete the routines, complete them perfectly. 15.375. He goes into joint first place with Soo-Myun Kim. Well, this is developing into a very close race.
But if they use a tiebreaker, he'll lose out because his style wasn't quite up to the Korean. But we'll see. I don't think they should use a tiebreaker. They should give him a medal each.
Okay, back over to vault. Hong of DPR Korea.
Double twist, business-like, a little bit overcooked. And if you think she looks like the other Hong, you were right.
Exactly the same.
They're twins. I tell you what, you could have all sorts of nonsense there, couldn't you? You could put the same gymnast on and have a great all-rounder. Good stuff. Overcooked the vault slightly. Double twist. This is worth not in the same league as sister, but nicely performed in terms of difficulty only, the difference.
So the second of the Hong sisters from DPRK. We've already seen Su Jong Hong, this Un Jong Hong, 15.05 the score for her first vault. That is good. Not quite as good as her sister. Her sister had an average of 15.237, but it's a good start. She gets a second vault right now. The 2 scores average to make a total.
Now she's gone for maximum. There'll be an extra half twist involved. There we are, 1.5 off, half on. Not quite the same aplomb. But I tell you what a lot of talent in one family. Here you are, look.
There's her twin sister. There they are. Shame that she made that mistake on landing from the second vault. She could have challenged there potentially for a medal position. Let's see what happened.
Half on. Good plan. Makes the 1.5 off, but had to buckle, and that's a map. She'll probably lose 8/10 for that. She didn't quite get her shoulder square, so she twisted around the corner, and that was the result. Great stuff, though.
Well, 15.4, the lead score. 15.237, the silver medal position held by her sister at the moment.
Wouldn't it be nice if she got the bronze? Call me old-fashioned.
14.962, not enough to go ahead of her sister, but enough to go into third place at the moment, I think so.
Exactly.
She could well be in a bronze medal position come the end of the competition. Let's see how that develops. Okay, back over onto men's pommel, representative of Chinese Taipei, Che Kui Huang.
Oh, that's a lovely start. He just got straight into it, and he's swinging beautifully. Fast hands, precise shoulders, keeping the rhythm. What's the phrase, Richard? Do you remember? Moving balance. It's incredible, isn't it? They keep that swing. The shoulder displacement, absolutely spot on. Good on the one handle. Now he's breaking into single leg, and that was pretty trouble-free. Good separation in the half turn. He clunked a little there. Got to keep the rhythm. Now he lost it there. And he's lost it on the dismount. You've got to keep that rhythm. What a tester. And no wonder he's frustrated, because before then it was a stormer. Look at him, he's absolutely delighted.
And that was Soo-Myun Kim of Korea, the current leader, or joint leader.
And it looks as if you look on the caption on the computer we've got, it looks as if they're not going to use a camp back, which I think is super.
They both scored the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go. As you said, it was a great demonstration, the early part of the routine.
Look at that, wonderful stuff. Keeps body line, keeps the swing. He was going like a train. But after the single leg, he lost a little bit of rhythm, and that is crucial. There's the half turn. He didn't enjoy the pickup, and he ran out of steam there. Not enough to pirouette in handstand.
He went so close. What a shame.
Well, that could smack his dismount. Lose 5 for that. Lose 8 for parting company. Look at the frustration. It's such a pity, because that was a medal performance for sure.
Well, he's going to be looking to get over 14.65 if he wants to be up in the top 3, but it's going to be a bit of a push after that problem at the end of his routine.
Tell you what, though, the work he did beforehand, the mistake was right at the end. Take 1.3 away, I don't know, he'll be in the 14s. He's to come, and I'll tell you what, don't write him off, nor him.
Two very big guns still to take to the pommel horse in this men's final. Yang Wei and Hiroyuki Tomita. Yang Wei, the man that took gold in individual all-round yesterday. Tomita took bronze. Now, interestingly, Che Kui Huang, who we're looking at right now, we've just seen his pommel routine. He scored a 15.55 in the qualification round. He was about the third highest qualifier for the final, so he is competitive, but a 14.7 is the score, so he does actually go up into a medal position at this stage. Kim and Joe of Korea and DPR Korea, the leaders, and he's now in third place. Now, Shagun Ali from Qatar, a tremendous response from the audience. She qualified as a reserve. Someone's out due to injury. and it's fantastic. She's getting to compete in the vault.
4-4 difficulty. Handspring tuck front and just didn't make it. But she'll get a round of applause. Don't be too disappointed, because for you to be representing Qatar in a final at this level is a tremendous achievement.
To be in there competing against the likes of Chung Fai,
yeah,
it's fantastic experience.
Good strong approach. Just didn't get the heels over. She was slightly piked in contact, and you're going to sacrifice a bit of rotation there. She's looking to get a more arched shape here. Just pulled the seat forward too soon. You can see not enough heels, not enough rotation. Just couldn't get it round.
Nevertheless, fantastic to see Qatar represented in the women's vault final. Well, she's looking a little nervous. We can give her that. It's a big, big event. But you can hear tremendous support from the crowd. She gives a bit of a smile.
Give it a smile.
She's enjoying it, really. Yeah, there we go. The rest of the competitors, Chung Fai, the world's best.
Which one is that, Richard?
It's one of the Hongs. One of the Hongs. I don't know whether it's Su or Un, but there we go. They're both going well in this vault final.
Wow.
So, Shagun Ali, 12.6 the score for the first vault. She recomposes herself and sets off for her second.
4.6. She's up the difficulty. Yes. I'll give her a straight suit for that. I hope the judges do.
Much more confident. You can see the delight from the crowd. She's done Qatar proud. There's the smile. She knows she made that small mistake on the first vault, but this was more competent.
It was. Needs to press the shoulders back. Just a little bit slow there. It was piked, wasn't it? But let's give her a straight. And she'll get an extra 10th for that. Pull it back. Come on, pull it over.
You can't take it away from her. She's in there doing the business in amongst the world's best, in front of what has to be said, a very supportive hometown audience. A little bit of disappointment, but she can be proud of herself to make it through to this final. Shagun Ali from Qatar.
Great moment for her.
Well, they had two men representative in the team finals and two women in the team finals as well. And they've got a great approach to gymnastics. They've got young gymnasts coming through, a good coaching team. And it's great to see some of the emerging nations coming through and doing well.
Isn't that what it's all about? Games, the word. When you put games, you talk festival. You talk fun, you talk socialising, and you talk sport in its truest form. And that's been evident all the time. And when you see these youngsters coming through, very young nations, really good to see it.
A fantastic experience for Shagun Ali, competing, as I said, with the likes of Chung Fei and the Hong twins of DPR Korea, Zhu Zhiru of China. Big names in women's gymnastics, and she's in amongst them today. Fantastic.
Enjoy your moment. You'll never forget it.
Well, she scored a 12.125 in the qualification rounds, and she scored a 12.950 in the final, so she's gone better than she did in the qualifications. She can be pleased with herself. Shagun Ali, 12.950. She can be proud of that. Now over on the men's pommel, Yang Wei.
Look at that focus. Doesn't swing with the same extension of Chow Kun, but this man's got the experience. 3 circles. Vendy swing, stepping down. Triple Vendy swing. Picking up now. Magyar treble. He'll do Zivado back. Classic combination. Very accurate placement of the hands, and he exploded there. And there was no way he was going to rescue that. He exploded from the circle. You could probably tell it in my voice. I nearly fell off myself. And he's standing on the ground. And to see two Chinese do this, very, very unusual. Okay, picks up into the single leg work. There's still a bronze medal in the offing if he can produce something superb and build his difficulty, but he's opted not to. Got off quite quickly, but Yang Wei just couldn't sustain the form he's shown all the way through these Asian Games. He is delighted.
Well, the joint leader there, Su Myung Kim, looks on, as does Jong-chol Zhou of DPR Korea. What an upset for the Chinese men. Chao Kun, the king of the pommels, he went wrong, and now we've just seen Yang Wei, the all-around gold medalist, do exactly the same. Well, they've had a virtually faultless record so far in this Games. I suppose maybe it's too much to hope that they can have it all their own way.
Couldn't go on forever. But he's a great all-round gymnast. He understands pressure, but this is where I took a breath, because he exploded on the circle down. Then your legs drop, and to come back from that is impossible.
Well,
swinging so beautifully. Look at that. Good night, Matilda.
It does possibly open the door for Tomita to shine.
And Tomita will be anxious now. But I've seen it before, the big names coming off.
Well, the lead scores at the moment, 15.375. The joint leaders, Kim and Zhou. There we go. And in third place, 14.7 for Che Kwai Huang.
Nice shot.
Looking relaxed. Well, there's a few upsets, to say the least, on men's pommel today. He needs a 14.7 if he's going to get himself into a medal position. There's Tomita, he's looking on. He realises that the door is now wide open for him to shine in this event. 14.525, that's not enough to get up into the top 3 places, the top 4 places even at this stage. It's a disaster for the Chinese men, but it's joy for this man. Jong-chol Zhou. Oh, there's the score, 12.95 for Shagun Ali. She surpasses her score from the qualification rounds and can be very happy with that. So, all kinds of action going on over on the men's pommel horse. We'll return to that in a little while. Time being, though, back over to women's vault.
And so you, who impressed me in the quarter round, going for a 5.8. There'll be a double twist involved somewhere. There it is, but just needed out. Interesting smile. Nobody's going to beat her, I don't think, at this stage. This is the last to perform. Let's have a look. Plenty of aggression. Slightly too long on. Pops it up, but you need rotation as well. And need it at the end. The shoulders need to be pressed backwards, and she really had to dig it in, make the pike to try and finish it. Good low contact, but just too slow off the top. What a pity. Don't look too disappointed. Half the job done. Is there a medal up for grabs here? I don't know.
Well, as you said, nobody can touch Cheng Fei of China. She's well ahead, as expected. Although she's done well, as we've seen in the men's pommel, there can be upsets. No such ill fortune, though, for Cheng Fei today. She leads quite comfortably with a 15.4 ahead of the 2 athletes from DPR Korea, the Hong twins.
14.962 is what this young lady needs if she's going to break into the bronze medal position. So the first score from a 5.8 difficulty, and you can see behind her she's posted a 5 on this. Not enough artillery. it will be the performance score. She's not happy. Probably too much differentiation there. By the time they've knocked out the highest and lowest, and if the 4 counting scores are too far adrift in the middle, that's the middle 2 scores, they'll ask someone to adjust, reconsider, but they've settled it.
So, Han Sol-yu, the last of the women's finalists on vault, the last vault of the final.
Have they settled it? She's not sure. She's given a signal. They still seem to be deliberating. Now, she could be in trouble there, because if you make a signal, I'm sure they won't take her up on it, but if you make a signal...
I think she was just saying, come on, what are you doing? I'm ready to go here.
There's Didier Humbert there, who invented, part of the team that invented the air cross system. Just communicating.
We'll just give you a rundown of the positions at the moment. Chong Fai leads with a 15.4. Su Jong Hong, 15.237. Un Jong Hong, 14.962. They, the top 3 positions, 14.962. The score needs to be surpassed.
Now she's getting agitated now, so she should be. Stand up there, you're on your own.
Part of the skill of an international gymnast, though, these things do come along.
You stole my thunder there. I was just going to say she'll start jumping up and down in a minute. That's exactly what she did, because she needs to keep warm. She needs to keep focused. And if you stand there for too long, you can do all the mental practice in the world, but you need to be moving. 13.125, she's not at the races.
Well, she's not going to challenge the top 3. But let's see what she can do. This, the last vault of the women's final.
Now, if she pulls a good one out here, she's done very well mentally. Plenty of aggression. Pike front half turn. Good vault. But because it's a 5 difficulty, that's a smile of victory there. And we've got twins on the podium. You can sort them out.
Well, there we go. Chung Fei from China takes the gold on women's vault. Su Jong Hong from DPR Korea takes the silver, and her twin sister Un Jong Hong takes bronze. A little bit of disappointment.
Now then.
Back over on pommels. Now this man could make a difference. Tomita of Japan, a tremendous gymnast. He's seen mistakes from the 2 Chinese stars. He could make a big difference to the top 3 positions now, but he's got to turn it on. He needs something quite special.
Ryuki Tomita, something to prove. He had his moments in the all-round. He won't want to do the same in the individual apparatus final. He has an amazing attitude. Look at this, almost laconic style. This is beautiful swinging. The one Vendy swing. Now he's out onto the end. He's keeping the shoulders committed and the heels moving. That's how you get balance and rotation working together. Has this peculiar side-on stance. Lost form there. Has got really now to pull it together. Good break. Well clear in the single leg work. Beautiful leg separation. There was a slight kink of form. No loss of rhythm in the dismount. For my money, just that little kink of form. It's on start value. It will be very, very close. But it's on start value. I know that he cut down the difficulty there because he had a moment coming back onto the handle. And there is this question over his hand placement on the leather. Okay in the Vendy, no problem at all there. But when you do a cross circle, you need to be square on. Very exciting stuff. This set him apart from the others. His single leg work, beautiful, and hardly touching the horse. He's only going to be a tenth or two in it either way.
15.375, the joint lead scores at the moment. 14.7 is the bronze medal position. So if Tomita wants to get onto the podium, he's going to have to go better than 14.7. If he wants to upset the two joint leaders, 15.375 the score to beat.
He's in the 15s, I'll tell you that.
Going to be close.
But it's just a question of how far in. It'll be on start value because he did make a few form errors and he did think very quickly. He's equal the score.
Well, there we go. That's a turn up for the books. 15.375. So 3 of the men's finalists go equal on the same score. What are they going to do to separate that one out, Mitch?
They won't, and they shouldn't. I mean, 3 great. This guy went for difficulty. His form was down. The other 2 went through very well what they trained. They all deserve a gold medal. They cannot, should not, will not separate them. It's not fair. They all earned a gold medal. Well, I hope justice prevails.
That is incredible. We saw Soo Myun Kim ratch up that score first. He was shortly followed by Jong Chol Jo of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and then the last finalist, Hiroyuki Tomita of Japan, the last man to go, as you can see, goes ahead and does the same thing. 15.375, the winning score. 3 out of the 8 finalists, all registering the same score today in Doha.
Well, I'm really pleased their justice is done. If there was a winner, you know, in terms of form, it was the Korean. If they'd have gone back to count back on style, he'd have won. But it's great to see 3 goals.
In the men's rings final, China's Yi Bing Chen was out to prove that his World Championship win was no fluke performance.
But look at this combination. The shoulders are down beautifully in the inverted cross. Double pike somersault, back up into top plant. Again an inverted cross, this time from swing, and it's that mixture that he does so successfully. Another Maltese, bounce into cross. Beautiful style. It makes 7 with this, 8 strength parts, some from swing, some purely static. And I like this, a static inglocate in the middle of the routine. Perfect ring discipline. Look at that. Swing to handstand, beautifully through, keeps the rotation, nails the landing. That was the mix, that was the recipe, and that is the challenge.
Chen's score left his Chinese teammate and all-round gold medalist Yang Wei needing to beat 16.575.
Good start. Get the shoulders down, nicely done. He has a move right in the middle which sets him apart. Good swing to inverted cross. Nothing to choose at the moment. Good shrug into Maltese. Up he goes into top plant. Look at the rings turned out. Lovely discipline. Dropped his feet there. That's one technical error. Good to handstand. Will he put in the O'Neill? Yes, he does. Now that sets him apart. But there was that tiny error earlier on. Turn the rings out. Of course he will. Good swing to handstand. If he nails this, it'll be close. But not quite the precision he showed in the individual all-round. Double, and he's on a sixpence. So it could be very, very close. Chen Yi Bing there smiling.
There's the score, 16.575. Well, history repeating itself.
Another tie for the gold medal in the gymnastics hall and another gold added to China's list. Incidentally, that makes it 7. In the final event of the evening, North Korea's Soo Jung-hong was left to better a score of 15 set by China's He Ning on the women's uneven bars.
If she hits, she can do it. She's at every handstand, beautiful in the Jaeger. Now if she keeps this quality up, this could be a great moment for her. There's the catcher. This is superb. Hits the handstand. Good transfer, good swing. Oh, she was short on that one handstand. Double layout. She stuck it. Now this is going to be close.
15.375. 1.525. Su Jong-hong has done enough. She takes the gold medal in the asymmetric.
Su Jong-hong's gold medal rounded off a remarkable gymnastics session at the Aspire venue, a second gold medal for North Korea, but the day once again belonged to China.